Hey guys, welcome back with another anime review. And this anime review is an romance anime that I discovered recently, based on an AMV that I watched. I decided to check it out, and I thought it was really good. Although it did have some glaring flaws, I felt. But I'll mention them in a little bit here. It's called True Tears, which is a Japanese animated television series, an original work. I mean, there's no manga, no game, no light novel, no, radio drama, no visual novel, no anything like that based on it. It's an original work by Studio PA Works. It's directed by Junji Nishimura and produced by Kenji Horikawa. And it originally went from January 6, 2008 to March 30, 2008. And lasted for a total of 13 episodes. Wow. I just noticed something. 2008 must have had a lot of really good anime. Like, there's this one, True Tears. There was Noin. There was Season 2 of Code Geass. I think Death Note might have came out that year too, so... Yeah, like 2008 had a lot of really good anime that came out. But, anyways though. The plot of True Tears. True Tears revolves around a high school student named Shinichiro Nakagami with a high artistic ability. He lives with his mother, father, and fellow high school student Hiromi Yuasa, who moved into his house after her father died. I guess her father had been a close friend of the family, so it was natural for Hiromi to come to stay with the Nakagami family. And that was about a year ago. Alright, so, and that's basically where the series starts. Now, to explain this in a nutshell, by the way, spoilers like always, but to explain this in a nutshell, Shinichiro basically ends up developing a love triangle with Hiromi herself, as well as one other character that we will meet later on named Noe Isurugi, which Noe Isurugi is a student that he meets in the series. He didn't know her before. Alright. And she's a very odd girl at Shinichiro's school. He first meets her up in a tree where she is picking silver berries for a chicken she named Raigomaru in a coop on a campus. Shinichiro ends up having to catch her as she jumps from the tree since she was stuck and could not get down on her own. Alright, she likes chickens, though would only feed one of them since she says it could not fly while the other can. Or it could fly while the other cannot. Which, that's something that's brought up a lot. Now, with the chicken, you could say, okay, it's probably literal. Whereas all the other times, I'm pretty sure it's symbolic. But with the chickens, you could probably say it's literal. Although I don't know if chickens can normally fly, so it's probably symbolic with that too. Because I don't think chickens can actually fly. Alright, and her backstory is basically like, I forget how long, but several years before the start of the series, her grandmother died, and she was always really close to her grandmother. So basically, after that, all she's had in her life was her older brother, older than she, who was it to? I forget what his name is. Jun Isurugi, right? So after her grandmother died, all she had was her brother. Now, one thing I don't like in the series, and I'll bring this up again later, is at the end they kind of had that brother and sister kind of had. I think it was actually kind of one-sided on Jun's part. He kind of revealed that he had incestual feelings for his little sister, which kind of made me want to cringe, but that's another story, though. I'll probably mention it later on when I get into the flaws of the series, though. So yeah, and so Shinichiro basically develops romantic feelings for both of them. There is kind of another subplot where this other character, what's her name? Aiko Ando ends up revealing that she's in love with him and actually kissing him, but it doesn't go any further than that. It's kind of weird because she basically cheats on her current boyfriend by doing that, who is Miyokichi Nobuse. But then they end up getting back together again by the end of the series, which I do think that's kind of weird, but whatever though. Kind of just a nitpick, I guess. But and the thing is, when I originally watched the AMV, I thought that Aiko was actually going to be a third girl in this whole love thing to make all four of them be the main conflict there, but apparently not. Yeah, but the whole appeal of the series is it's a very character-driven series, not really story-driven. It's a character-driven piece that basically chronicles, well, adolescence for one thing. All right, in which Shinichiro, Hiromi, and Noe, their love triangle. That's basically the main appeal of the series, and I thought it did very good in most aspects. Like, I don't see a whole lot of good romance anime nowadays, and I know this came out in 2008, but still, it's fairly recent. And I thought it did very good for the most part. I really enjoyed the suspense, because what the series did was it wasn't just a cheesy romance, okay? Where, boy meets girl, they hate each other at first, and then they love each other. No, it's none of that bullshit, okay? Like, first off, Hiromi, who is, spoiler alert, the one who Shinichiro ends up with in the end, has lived with him for a year, and in a way, they're kind of like brother and sister. They're not actual brother and sister. Clearly, they don't see themselves that way anymore, which is why they ended up with each other in the end. But you could see them that way in the sense that they don't hate each other. And same thing with when Noe meets him. She doesn't hate him, so it's not any bullshit like that. All right, it deals with it very realistically. Now, I'm 19, so for someone my age, it's not too realistic in terms of love, but it's realistic for young love, okay? Which is technically what anime tends to delve into a lot. Whenever anime deals with romance, they like to deal with young love a lot. I don't know why, but they do. But I thought this one was done very well, though. Now, I did have one of my favorite things about it was, it was difficult. Like, Shinichiro, you would see constantly throughout the course of the series, had to deal with the fact that, in a way, he liked both of these females. He was in love with both of them, okay? And he actually, for a little while, ends up dating Noe, okay? And then switching over to Hiromi towards the end of the series. Alright, and it constantly chronicles his internal struggle with this, and I really liked the way that they did that. That was my favorite part of the series. Okay. I just wish this had an English dub. But yeah. However, I did have some problems with the series. Now, one of my biggest problems with the series was I don't know why Shinichiro ended up with Hiromi in the end. Now, I'm quite honestly indifferent to both couples, okay? But I don't see why it turned out that way. I don't see the logic behind it turning out that way, okay? I mean, it's like, okay, Shinichiro is dating Noe, alright? Then, towards the end of the series, Hiromi kisses Shinichiro out of nowhere, and automatically, they're dating again. That, to me, made no fucking sense. especially since throughout the series up to that point, the creators were making it abundantly clear that they had a bias for Noe. Alright, because Noe was getting the vast majority of screen time. And then it seemed to me that at that point someone came in who was maybe like the head of that project or something, and he had a bias for Hiromi, and he basically said, no, make Hiromi end up with him in the end, and even though they didn't want to, they had to do it because he was the leader. At least that's what it seems like to me, based on how it went. Alright. In addition to another problem I had, which is kind of something that made no sense to me, alright? At one point, Shinichiro's mother told Hiromi, alright, that their father might be the same guy, which would be his mother's current husband, alright? Which would imply that they actually are adopted, that they actually are step-siblings, okay? Because they would have the same father. However, later this turned out to be a lie. Now, why'd she do this? I mean, why'd she tell Hiromi this? I mean, because Hiromi is the one who ends up telling Shinichiro this later on. I mean, I know that his mother didn't like Shinichiro because she didn't like Hiromi's mother. But why? We never get any insight on this whatsoever. It's just a mystery. Okay? And that's something I also didn't like. And then my last problem with this was with the plot was the pacing. Alright? Two of the characters, namely Hiromi and Noe, developed way too fast. In one episode they have one personality, and then the next it's completely flipped with no explanation as to exactly why it changed. Alright, it's like, not to mention the whole thing with fucking Aiko kissing Shinichiro on the lips never goes anywhere either, which is another problem of mine. It's like, they had so many good things in the plot here, but for every good thing they had something that dragged it down. And it's kind of disappointing in that regard, I honestly think. Also, you know, I mentioned before that whole incest thing that Noe's brother had with her. I didn't really like either. But, yeah. But that's really all my problems. And all my problems can be summed up with, yeah, this is not a perfect anime, but it's still really good. Okay? That being said, they could have definitely done a lot better. And for that, I'm going to have to give it a 7 out of 10. Now, this anime had a lot of potential, and it succeeded on some grounds, but on other grounds, it didn't succeed too well. And that's kind of disappointing, because I think that it could have done really good if they just would have given it more time. Alright. Anyways, so yeah, I'm going to give this anime a 7 out of 10 as my final score. And so yeah, in the description below, I will link where you can stream this, as well as where you can buy it on eBay. On eBay and on Amazon. Okay. So you can go there. And yeah, like I said before, this anime currently has no English dub, so if you really want to watch it that badly, then you'll have to watch it subbed. And I do recommend it. I do think it's worth watching, definitely. Okay, I just don't think it's as good as quite as good as it could have been with a 7 out of 10, you know. So yeah, but anyways, overall, hope you enjoyed this review, guys. See you after, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.